Hi everyone, it's George from Envy, and in this video we're going to look at why your pond might be losing water. So if you've noticed your pond water level dropping, it's easy to assume the worst and think you might have a leak. But before you start pulling everything apart, there's a few things you can check first, because it might not be that. So the first and most obvious reason is it's just evaporation. So when it's warmer and sunnier, and potentially even when it's windier as well, your pond will naturally lose water. And this is especially noticeable in small ponds, because even a small amount of water loss can make the level look like it's dropped quite dramatically. Like our pond here, for example. 90% of the time it is evaporation. So pond plants can also play a part. So aquatic plants obviously use water as they grow, but the bigger issue is actually plants around the edge of the pond. So if foliage, stems or roots are trailing into the water over the edge, they can actually wick water out of the pond. So it's worth looking around the edges and just trimming back anything that might be dipping into the pond or bridging the pond edge. So another common cause can be just splashing from different features you've got in there, fountains, pumps. In our case, it's not as much. We've only got the pump running here, but it can contribute to a small amount of water loss. So if you've got a lot of water features or it's running for a long amount of time, that can add up in terms of small amounts of water over time being taken out of the pond. It might simply be that the flow is too strong, a rock has shifted, or the water is landing too close to the edge. So that's another thing just worth checking. So the other thing to check if you have it is your pump and filter. Sometimes it's not the pond at all that's leaking itself, it's actually the pipework. So you could have water escaping from a loose pipe, a cracked fitting, a filter box, or even an overflowing filter if it's really clogged. So have a look around the filter and the pump. If the water level drops more when the pump is running, that can be a clue that the issue is somewhere in the circulation system rather than in the pond liner itself. So if you're noticing the water in your pond keep dropping to the same level and then just stops at that level, that could suggest that the issue is around that particular water line. So check the liner and the pond edges and any folds or corners in your liner where that water might be escaping. And it could be that the pond edge has sunk or shifted. A low edge can let water overflow or escape into the surrounding soil. So it might be that something you just have to repair around the edge of your pond. It's not necessarily a major problem, but it does help narrow down where to look. So wildlife also can potentially disturb and the level of water that's in the pond. So birds and lots of other mammals that can either drink in the pond or bathe in it or disturb the edges. Usually this won't be the main reason, obviously, for a water level dropping, but it can contribute, again, especially in ponds of this size. But having said all that, as we say, most of the time it is evaporation and it's easily fixed. You can top a pond back up safely, and we'll show you now how to do that. So when you are topping up your pond, the best thing to do is use rainwater. So water from a water butt. It's naturally better for the pond than tap water, obviously, but we also use water butt clear, which is just beneficial bacteria, and there's no harmful chemicals or anything like that in there, and helps keep the water safe for your plants and ponds. But yeah, water from a water butt is the best thing to use when topping up, so we're going to use that today. So if you don't collect rainwater, it's not a problem. Obviously you can use tap water, just obviously make sure to use a dechlorinator. So we do have a dechlorinator as well, so our product's called Chlorine Clear. So tap water obviously contains chlorine and chloramines. So that water on its own straight out of the tap isn't very healthy for pond life. So it's always good to use a dechlorinator when you're topping up the pond with tap water. So if your pond water level is dropping, don't panic straight away. Start with the simple checks. As I say, most time evaporation, plants, pumps, filters, pipes. Once you know what's causing the water loss, you can fix the problem properly and top up the pond safely. So if you've experienced anything interesting on this topic with your pond, comment down below. Any questions, again, leave us a comment and we'll get back to you. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe to the channel where we post more educational content like this. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.
Dude, thanks for watching. See you in the next one again, because you'll do something weird with your hand.